Welcome back, fight fans, to another episode of the KO Breakdown. I'm your host, the fight analyst, Garrett Kerman, and with me, as always, is Joe Danger himself, Jesse Alpson. What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. Coming to you live from the beach of Texas, Galveston City. And we're just breaking down this lackluster fight card, taking time away from my family to give you guys what you want. So hopefully you guys appreciate it.
Absolutely. We
Garrett,
appreciate
you
being
included.
here.
You included.
I appreciate you being here with us while your family, is enjoying the beach house and, the beach life over there in Galveston City, Texas. But yeah, we're here to break down UFC Vegas 58, headlined by Rafael dos Anjos and Rafael Fiziev. It's going to be a banger of a fight in the lightweight division. Co-main event, we got Kai Borralho and Armin Petrosyan in a middleweight bout. It's going to be a banger. This fight card's got some ups and downs, some good fights, some lackluster fights, but coming off a fight card like UFC 276, you're kind of gonna have one of those kind of lackluster fight cards coming right after it. But all in all, UFC 276 delivered, did it not?
Everything but the main event. I mean, that was
pretty much.
I mean, the main event. I mean, I'm gonna get you frozen like Elsa. Like that's the last fight in a in a box like that. Horrible, all around. Everything else was pretty great, though. I had a good time. So
yeah, I think every fight was really worth watching. Unfortunately, we had the anticlimactic fight in the Sean O'Malley and Pedro Munoz fight, and we had Izzy dancing around his opponent for 25 minutes doing what he does. But other than that, great fight card. But this fight card is what we're talking about. We're here to talk about UFC 58. Looking to put some money in your pockets, and let's just get right down to the nitty gritty on the prelims. First up in the men's bantamweight division, between Ronnie Lawrence and Sayukov and Kakramanov. Right now, Lawrence is the slight minus 140 favorite, and a comeback on Kakramanov is plus 120. Who do you got?
Yeah, so this is an interesting fight. Lawrence is fun to watch. What's up, Forrest? Thanks for joining us. Lawrence has made a bunch of improvements since he lost to Steve Garcia. My boy Steve Garcia. Obviously, this isn't 2016 anymore. But staying across from him is another worthy competitor in his own right, Kok Ramakov. Emphasis on the cock. And while both guys are capable of knocking each other out, I think Lawrence will probably wrestle a little bit here, and it really just depends on what the judges prefer as far as who wins this one. But I'd assume that Ronnie gets the nod, and depending on the odds, I may play the over and maybe even a draw, and hope that someone gets a nut shot when they're in the clinch, because I really do think that there is value on the draw here, and probably insane odds. I like the over 2.5. I also like Ronnie Lawrence. He's my pick, but honestly, this fight could really go either way.
We got Forrest saying that he's on Lawrence by decision. Not a bad pick. It's actually plus 150 to win by decision. I kind of like it there. And what's up, Forrest? Thanks for joining us as always, each and every week. He's our guy. Forrest is our guy.
Yeah, I appreciate you. He's a good guy.
But as far as this matchup goes, I'm actually excited for this matchup. I think it's one of the more exciting fights on the card. These guys are gonna go back and forth. Ronnie Lawrence has shown, he can actually strike too. He got multiple knockdowns against Mana Martinez, which was fairly impressive because I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
But we also saw him fade as the fight goes on into the third round. He got knocked down, almost finished by Mana Martinez, which is not a great look against somebody who, finishes a lot of his opponents in Kakramanov. Kakramanov, he could get stuck. He could get, held in the clinch. He can get taken down, but he's slick in scrambles. He's got really good chokes, like his guillotine choke against Trevin Jones. And he's got power in his hands that he can crack you on the feet. He's got some really good movement. So it's a really hard fight, to really have a definitive guy that you think is going to dominate, because I don't think either one of these guys is going to dominate this fight. I think both of them are going to come in there and have, some exciting things that go on with them. I feel like Kakramanov could possibly get a knockdown. He can possibly get a submission, or I could see Lawrence going in there, taking him down, just controlling him and beating him up from top. I can't really put a price tag on who's going to do what. So I'm probably going to pass in this fight. But ultimately, I think Lawrence probably gets the nod. It's a tough fight to really call. I think it's going to be very, very close all throughout. I think both of them are going to have their moments. But ultimately, I'll probably have to side with Lawrence because he's shown more than what Kakramanov has been able to show. So we'll see.
I agree. I think that's also why we're getting a little bit more movement on him as far as like him becoming more of a slight favorite, because when this line first opened, it was even like 110 minus 110 for both guys.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I see the value on the draw. It just really depends on who shows up and then who gets kicked in the nuts.
That's true. Whoever gets kicked in the nuts. All right, moving on. We got a fight in the light heavyweight division between Kennedy Nzechukwu and Carl Robeson. Right now, Nzechukwu minus 135. Come back on Robeson plus 115. Who do you got?
Wow, that's crazy because initially when I picked Kennedy, he was the underdog at plus 105. He's made massive improvements since he joined the UFC. Every event or every fight, he always gets a little bit better. Like he's putting it a little bit together each fight. He's finally understanding how to use his range, which I think was his biggest, issue when he first joined the UFC. Roberson, on the other hand, has seemed to kind of slowly get worse. Each fight he kind of takes a step back. Maybe his heart isn't into it anymore. I'm not entirely sure. I think Kennedy gets it done here, probably by KO too, and that's just assuming that Roberson kind of shows up like he has been lately. And the true reasoning is that I just feel like he is giving up, especially lately. And while this is a step down in competition for Roberson, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in PFL next season if he does get the loss here, because it's all about the Benjamins, baby.
I mean, I'm not sure why Robeson is fighting at 205. He's not that. I mean, he's built, but he's not that big. I mean, he's only 6'1". He's only got a 74-inch reach, which is pretty small for a guy that's 6'1". You would normally see 76, 77 inches. But he's going against a guy that's 6'5" with 83-inch reach. He's got 9 inches of reach and 4 inches of height.
They're starting to understand his weapons, which is, right. I think,
No, he's looking great. He's, other than, he lost a BS split decision against Nick Romanov, whatever you wanted to say his name. But anyways, it was a split decision that definitely should have gone his way. I mean, that was a bad decision. And then if you take that away, his only losses are to Da-Yoon Young and Paul Craig, and both are really good in the division. And Roberson, like I said, also very small, bad fight IQ, shouldn't be fighting at 205. He gets hit a ton. Yeah. He's going to have a ton of troubles landing. He's going to be throwing a ton of leg kicks. I know that right off the bat. He's going to be throwing leg kicks early and often. And if that doesn't do anything to Nzechukwu, then I think Nzechukwu is going to pick him apart at range. And Roberson's going to try to attempt takedowns, because that's kind of like he kind of evolved a bit from just a pure glory kickboxer to now this glory kickboxing grappler. So it's kind of weird. But ultimately, I see him having success there either. I think he gets picked apart at range and probably finished as well.
Yeah, same. It's funny. I mentioned that fight to you last week, and you're like, why would you like? Okay, like that's the fight you're excited about?
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, I am. I don't know why.
Kennedy has shown some promise. He's shown that he can put on exciting fights, and this is should be a kickboxing affair between the two of them. So we should see a lot of power coming from both sides until one of them probably gets knocked out.
I'm excited to see the evolution. Like if he continues to put it together, I'm happy for him, because the dude looked like absolute dog shit when he first joined the UFC. So the fact that he's like putting in the time, putting in the effort, and he's actually getting wins from it, that's awesome. That's a fighter I like to support.
I agree. Next up, we got a fight in the men's featherweight division between David Onama and Garrett Armfield. Newly signed Garrett Armfield, who just signed with the UFC yesterday and is now making his short notice debut on just about 4 days' notice at 145 pounds. Right now, the line is set at Onama -6 to -700. And the comeback on Armfield plus 450. Who do you got?
So obviously I'm not at home, so I broke down the Lingo and Onama fight prior to me getting out here with my family. So I had picked Onama, and I'm probably going to stick with Onama, maybe inside the distance or in under 2.5. I don't know enough about this other fighter to actually make a play, but that's why I have friends like Garrett that can break this fight down for me. Take it over, boss.
Yeah, it's a good fight. I've been high on Armfield since he was on the regional scene. I knew about him for a while. I've been watching him. I think ever since he was like 3-0 as a pro. He's pretty good everywhere. He's got some power. He's got some really good grappling, really good wrestling. He trains out of Sanford MMA. But ultimately he's a bantamweight fighter. He's not a featherweight fighter, and he's going to be a lot smaller than Onama in this fight. For certain. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have the heart, he doesn't have the chin to really, to make this a good fight. I do think he's going to be able to make it a good fight. Also, they are very familiar with each other. They fought as amateurs when Armfield was 6-0, and I believe Onama was like 8 or 9-0 as an amateur. And they went head-to-head in the featherweight fight, and Onama was victorious and won by unanimous decision. Armfield has not been knocked out in his time as a pro or an amateur. So I do think he's got the chin to kind of hang in there. But ultimately, I do think he loses. Right now, the over-under is set at 2.5. The under is -180.
Yep.
And a lot of money seems to be pouring in on it. I could possibly wait that out and see if we get a juicy plus 200 or more on the over 2.5 rounds, because I think Armfield is tough enough to possibly hang in there for the entirety of the fight. I could be wrong, but if you're giving me plus 200, I'm willing to take that shot. I'm willing to take the chance.
Well, over 1.5 is only -130. I mean, that's not crazy.
That's not bad either. I like that.
Yeah.
I think he could last 7.5 minutes. But like I said, he went 15 minutes with him as an amateur. And it's not like Onama wasn't knocking out people as an amateur. He was knocking people out as an amateur as well. So I think he can hang in there. I think he could take a punch. And I think he could take damage. Definitely, if over 1.5 rounds is -130, I would definitely take a stab at that for sure.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like that's safer than the 2.5.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
No,
I know. I agree. But if you're taking the under 2.5, that's a lot safer than taking the under 1.5.
Yeah, true.
All right, moving on. Our next fight up is in the middleweight division between Cody Brundage and Tresean Gore. Right now, Gore is a -135 to -145, -150 favorite, and the comeback on Brundage +115 all the way up to +125. What do you got?
So this is going to be more of like a heart play, I guess you could say. I'm not a big fan of Gore. The way that he carried himself, excuse me, and responded to the other fighters in the Tough House was like incredibly weird and rude. Just from my viewer's perspective, I know that they edit that show in a way that we don't always see the fighters how they really are, but just the way that he kind of like made it more so like this is my show, even though he wasn't like probably the best fighter on the show, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I get it, you're your own biggest fan, you're your own biggest critic, but you don't have to be a prick about it. We get it, you have a job, everyone else has a job to do as well. And that being said, he lost the battle, and that was probably good for him. I think he'll come back stronger, but I think Brundage is a huge step up for him. And Brundage is a tough out, and if like I don't see Gore being able to do what William Knight did, so I think it's going to be another tough day at the office for Gore, and I'm going to pick Brundage to win this. I'm not entirely sure how, but I feel like he'll be able to handle Gore. I mean, he kind of telegraphs a lot of this stuff, and he kind of wears his heart on his on his face. Like you kind of know how he's feeling. He looks uncomfortable when he is uncomfortable, and I think ultimately that's going to kind of bite him in the ass here.
I agree. I like Brundage tier too as a underdog. We got Forrest Gore by decision in this. Thoughts? I mean, it's possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but if it's going to a decision, I'm gonna be positive that Brundage should be able to get the job done. I feel like he's gonna be able to outwork Gore. Gore is gonna have to up his volume immensely to win rounds and really do damage. Because Brundage, he's a guy that's gonna come forward. He's a guy that's gonna push the pace, push the pressure, and ultimately try to out cardio you with wrestling and heavy top control and stuff like that. We know that Gore had trouble with Battle doing the same exact thing and just doing more than him. I think Brundage would be able to do the same. Gore is also talking about he wants to show that he's a mixed martial artist and he welcomes Brundage to grapple with him. I'm like, okay. I mean,
Wow.
that doesn't make any sense, but sure. He's like, he wants to show that he can grapple too. He shows that he wants to show that he's a mixed martial artist and not a striker. I'm like, well, that sounds like a bad idea. I mean, that definitely bodes well for my play on Cody Brundage, especially because Brundage is talking about knowing that he can out cardio him, he can outwork him, and he will wrestle and he will attempt takedowns. And Cody Brundage is the better wrestler. Cody Brundage is the bigger and stronger fighter as well. I mean, he used to fight at light heavyweight. So I'm taking Brundage here as an underdog. I'd probably wait until I see more money, until some money come in on Brundage, because right now it looks like money's still coming in on Gore. Maybe Gore closes at minus 150, minus 160. You can get like a plus 145, plus 150 range on Brundage, and definitely a nice little juicy underdog there.
Yeah. I'm glad we agree on that one.
I know, right? Feels good to agree. Feels good. I like it. All right, moving on. We got a fight in the women's flyweight division between Antonina Shevchenko and Courtney Casey. Right now, the line is set at Shevchenko minus 180. Come back on Casey plus 155. Who do you got?
Courtney Casey has this weird skill where she beats fighters that she couldn't or shouldn't, I guess I should say. And I don't think that this fight will be any different. Shevchenko should win, and she has the tools to do so. I could see Casey edging this one out on the scorecards. I'm going to play her straight, though, because it is very possible that she scrambles and finds a random sub. I like Courtney Casey, underdog. I feel like it's going to keep cruising into more crazy underdog territory. Women's MMA is one of those things where you only bet the underdog, and that's what I'm doing on this one.
Or you could just say pass.
Yeah.
Because
true.
I am 1,000,000% passing on this fight in terms of betting. The only play that I did have earlier in the week was this fight goes to distance at minus 180. Now it's all the way up to like minus 190, minus 200, because I mean, that's a great line for a women's MMA fight to take it to go the distance at minus 180. I mean,
yeah, unless it's a Jesse Jess fight, then I mean, that's probably a really bad play.
not even gonna go there. Let's not even touch on that fight. As far as skill goes, skill for skill, Shevchenko should walk away with this fight.
Sure.
Casey is the smaller fighter. She's inferior in terms of grappling. She's inferior in terms of striking.
So it's a perfect storm for her to win.
I guess if you want to. I mean, but the thing is, what Casey does is she keeps fights close for no reason.
Yep.
And she could edge it out just by doing a little bit more. But at the end of the day, skill for skill, like Shevchenko is literally better everywhere. But I just don't want, even though I'm confident that she probably gets it done, I just don't want to play her at minus 180 and then her shit the bed.
Well, she has pretty poor IQ. We've seen
she does.
It's like one sister got the smarts and the other sister got the hots, and it's just like whatever.
It's a good analogy.
Yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. I just had to bring it up.
It makes
sense. But they both want to try MMA, so whatever.
More power to them. All right, moving on. We have a fight in the men's bantamweight division between Ayman Zahabi and Ricky Tercios. Tercios finally making his UFC debut. It's been forever. He deserves it. Right now, Turcios minus 190. Come back on Zahabi plus 160. Who do you got?
So I like Ricky, I really do, but at the line that it's at, I think that if you didn't get in early, that the dog is probably the play here. Zahabi is a proven finisher. Cesaros is a decision machine. And so while I think that, Ricky is super, super tough, I think Zahabi will bring the damage volume and maybe even a finish. This is a pick 'em fight in my eyes. So I'm siding with the value, aka the violence here. And I do think that Ricky is the play, but if you can get those dog odds, on Zahabi, go ahead and take the stab. Like crazy. I'm talking like once we get up to 200 plus 220, that'll be the time.
I don't even know if we're gonna get there. I feel like some money. I think it's gonna level out around minus 190, minus 200. That's how I'm saying. I'm thinking. I mean, as far as the matchup goes, Tercios, he's hard to get a read on. He's very unorthodox with his striking. He's very hard to hold on the mat too. He's got some really good scrambles. He's fought and beaten some pretty good competition on the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, the 3 guys he's beaten are all UFC caliber fighters. Actually, 2 of them are already signed in the UFC. No, I'm sorry. All 3 are signed in the UFC.
All 3 are.
All 3 are in the UFC and made their UFC debuts before Tercios. So this guy's already being UFC caliber competition. And, who has Zahabi beaten? 2 guys that aren't in the UFC and bad regional fighters. And he's coming off yet another 17-month layoff or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going against him. I think he's living in the shadow of his brother, and he's just trying his best to like kind of make it out of it. And he did really well in his last fight, but it was against Draco Rodriguez. And I don't think he's going to be able to do the same thing against Tercios. Tercios has shown, he's very durable, also very hard to hit and very hard to just control. And Tercios is going to be hitting you from multiple angles that Zahabi's not going to be able to deal with because he's not very well versed on the feet, and he's not going to be able to keep up volume for volume with Tercios. So he's going to have to slow it down with some clinch work against the fence and some type of grappling, because that's where Tercios' like biggest weaknesses is his takedown defense. But Zahabi's not a great grappler in his own right.
Nope.
Ultimately, I got Tercios just kind of running circles around him and getting the decision victory.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I feel like he's a decision machine, and so the only chance that Zahabi wins this is by knockout or some sort of weird finish.
You might as well just take him by TKO plus 500.
Or inside the distance, because even though I doubt that he gets a sub, I think the TKO might be the play. Yeah. But at the same time, this fight just seems more of like a pick'em fight to me, and Tesurios kind of reminds me of like El Kukui, but like a more calm version, like a less violent version, I guess you could say, outside of the octagon anyway. But and he lives really close to me, so I'm going to be rooting for him either way. I feel like if you didn't get in early like we did, then probably just be careful with your money.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting into the point where you really want to bet him. Minus 200, I would kind of stay away. We got minus 175 earlier in the week. Even minus 185 is not terrible. Minus 180 is not bad. But once you get to minus 200, you're like, I'm just gonna like lay off a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our featured bout on the prelims, a fight in the women's flyweight division between Cynthia Calvillo and Nina Nunes. Right now, the line is set at Calvillo minus 150 to come back at Nunes plus 130. Who do you got?
That's interesting. I'm surprised money's coming in on Nunes. I guess people are just assuming because she's been training with her wife, maybe she got better. I think we see the same thing we saw with Jessica Ai here. Calvillo is going to bully Nunes for 15 minutes. I really just truly don't see it going any other way. Do you remember when Calvillo was like MMA's next hot female fighter?
Yep.
And then like she just, there was no evolution, like nothing changed. I'm assuming that was because she was training with Faber, fade favor. Either way, I hope to see her get back on track here. I had a lot of faith in her in the beginning. I bet against her whenever she fought, the champion. I was one of few people that bet against her when she fought the champion. But I do think she beats Nunes here by decision.
Yeah, I got to go with the same here, too. It's kind of hard to take Nunes, especially after her last loss against Mackenzie Dern at 115 pounds. So, mind you, this is at I think this is at flyweight.
I believe it is.
I think it's. I'm going to make sure. Yeah, it's at flyweight.
Forrest, yeah, I agree with you. Forrest, Cavillo is going to win.
Yeah.
Yes. Death taxes, Cavillo wins.
Yeah. I think Cavillo should win. Granted, she's been fighting the better competition as of late. She's been fighting girls much bigger than her, and now she's fighting Nunes, who's also a former strawweight who just lost to Mackenzie Dern at strawweight. And she got taken down by Dern.
Yep.
How bad that is to get taken down by Dern? Dern's got awful offensive wrestling.
If Dern can take her down, Cavillo is gonna take her down with ease.
If that's a big if. We're not guaranteed that she's gonna go in there and attempt takedowns. Did we watch her fight against who the hell she fight? No. When she fought Caitlin Chikagian, she barely went and attempted takedowns in that fight. Like, it was odd. Like, the path to victory is to take her down, and you land zero. You land one takedown. One takedown.
Was she trying to get like a highlight finish or something?
She only attempted 2 takedowns in the first round, and then only 1 in the second, and 1 in the third. It's not a guarantee she's gonna go in there and actually fight smart and take it to the ground. That's why I'm like, well, I don't know, because on the feet it's competitive. It's a very competitive fight on the feet. So you have to bank and pray to the gods that Cynthia Calvillo is going to fight smart and attempt takedowns and get her to the mat, because she's going to win. She does. But, I mean, she's only got 2 takedowns in her last 3 fights. 2. And she only attempted 3 takedowns against Andrea Lee, who can't defend takedowns. So now you're going in hoping and praying, just like Sean Strickland too. It's another one. Yeah. You're going in and you're betting on and praying that Sean Strickland fights smart and attempts takedowns, because that's the best path for them to win. And Cynthia Calvillo is just another one. She's got good grappling. Her best attribute is her grappling and her jiu-jitsu, but she just doesn't want to use it. And if she doesn't use it here, she loses. It's point blank.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense as to why the money's coming in on Nunes then, but I still...
On paper, Calvillo should win this fight because she has such a massive advantage in the grappling. But you just have to pray and cross your fingers and go like this and hope for the best, because you're not guaranteed that to really happen.
True.
But anyways, moving on. We talked too much about that fight. If I had a pick, I would take Cynthia Calvillo. Moving on. Starting on our main card, we got a banger. Good fight at 155 pounds between Michael Johnson and Jamie Mullarkey. Right now, Mullarkey is minus 230 to come back. MJ, Michael Johnson, plus 195. What do you got?
Yeah, it's weird that that's the last fight's the featured fight, because I feel like that this could be the featured fight. Like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't trust Johnson's chin. I haven't trusted for a while. Simple as that. I like Mullarkey. I'm a fan of Mullarkey. I'm a fan of Mullarkey's name. Anyone that has the name Mullarkey, it just sounds like he has to be a good fighter. He fights hard, and I love watching him. Alan Patrick wobbled Johnson, and we can assume that Mullarkey will do the same. But this time he'll follow it up and probably get the finish. I got Mullarkey KO. I think I don't know. I feel like it's pretty obvious here.
Yeah, it's really hard to trust Johnson's durability at this point. Like you said, he got rocked by Patrick, but if he gets rocked by Mullarkey, he's probably going night-night. This could be a great fight for however long it lasts. if you got the under 2.5 rounds, it's at minus 150, minus 165 is not terrible. The over 1.5 is at minus 155 to plus 115. I could totally see that going under. I see Malarkey getting the knockout plus 120, plus 125. Malarkey in round 1 plus 250 is not terrible. Malarkey in round 2 plus 400.
I like that. That's nice.
Malarkey in round, because Patrick rocked him in round 2. Yeah. I feel like we could possibly get out of round 1 and Malarkey finishes him up in round 2 and gets the job done.
Yeah, the only thing that scares me about that is I know Malarkey does go after the finish in round 1, and he doesn't give a shit. He just wants the finish. But I think that of the 2 rounds, I would probably assume it comes in 2 over top of 1. But it could happen in either.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to happen within 2 rounds. We're getting a knockout for sure. Yeah. So the fight doesn't start round 3, minus 150.
I don't hate that either, because then if someone pokes you in the eye, but
no. So you don't lose that. We actually didn't lose that bet.
Yeah, we get the money back. Yeah,
we get the money back because it was voided because it wasn't a DQ. It was a no contest.
Yep, that's exactly right, my friend. So that was cool. So yeah, thank you, Pedro Munoz, for complaining.
No, thank you, because no one was going to get finished there. We would have won.
Yeah, true.
At the end of the day, we got screwed. We got screwed out of some money. But anyways, moving on in the heavyweight division, we have a fight between Chase Sherman and Jared Vanderaa. Right now, Vanderaa minus 195. The comeback of Chase Sherman plus 165. What do you got?
Vandeera's IQ, extremely questionable. But
extremely questionable.
Yeah.
It's an understatement.
Yeah.
Well, why would you follow him to the mat?
I have other worse things written in my notes. I had to clean it up because I'm a fan of the guy.
I know, I like him too, but that was bad.
Sherman. But on the other hand, Sherman's heart is trash. Let's hope that Jared learns something from Alexei and handles the Vanilla Gorilla, because I'd assume whoever loses here is packing their bags. And Lord knows we'd all rather see Jared back. This guy for sure. Absolutely. Here's an interesting one. Jared by sub plus 550. Or last time I checked, it was plus 550. And I think he is going to want
plus 700.
Okay, well, there we go. I think that he will want to finish him. And then I also think if he gets the sub, he will say that he redeemed himself. He is that weird and cool and dumb, all in the same umbrella, that he would be like, yeah, I learned something from Alexei. He's a ton of fun. He's a goofball, and I feel like he would want to do it that way. So I might take a stab on that. That's a lot of money that is very possible.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that happening, considering Jared's definitely been talking about working on his grappling. He's actually been doing grappling tournaments as well. And the funny thing is, I could totally see him going from a Scarfield.
Yep.
He's just like, see, guys, I could do it too.
Yep. Well, and he would have, he probably already has the speech in his mind. I'm going to go for this. If I don't get it, I'm going to try to knock him out, and then I'm going to try it again. And he'll be like, yeah, whatever. He's that guy. That's what's so cool about him. And either way, no matter what happens, I just want him to stay in the UFC, especially in comparison to Chase Sherman.
It's just crazy. Both these guys are on the illest L streaks I've ever seen. You have one guy coming off 3 L's in a row, and you have the other guy coming off 4 L's in a row.
Yeah. Well, Chase doesn't have a heart. He
gives up. He definitely gives up. I mean, he always just punch him in the face once. He's like, nah, I'm good.
Yep.
Just punch him hard one time.
He made a little brief comeback whenever he came back from BKFC, and then he was just like, "Nah, I'm just collecting checks. I'm not even going to attempt to break necks. I just want checks, and I'm moving on." I remember there was a while where he was super active on Instagram and Twitter, because he was trying to become a McGregor of Facebook or of social media. But yeah, I guess when you can do that all you want, but once you start losing, nobody is listening
Oh yeah, especially
or
when you have four
following.
four L's in a row.
Yeah, true.
All right, but as far as this fight goes, I got Jared winning. I just know I want to play the price. So ultimately it's definitely a pass situation. Not betting on this fight. Maybe you could bet the sub, but I mean it's not a given considering
Yeah.
he's only got what 2 subs in his career, if that no, or 1 sub in his career, and that was way back in the day, or 2. I think he's got 2. Wait, he's got
But imagine how high you're gonna throw your beer in the air when it actually happens. I mean, it'll be like 4th of July all over again.
I mean, his last time he got a sub was an ankle lock in 2017 against a guy that's 2-14.
Hell yeah, that's extreme that sounds like Chase Sherman all over again.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. But either way, I got Jared win this fight. I want nothing. I want nothing to do with it. I hope he wins because he's cool as shit. He's funny. And no one really cares for Chase Sherman, so yeah, it's okay.
Well, he's unintentionally funny. Like Sherman is like try hard funny, and I think that's the line like that you can't cross, which I apparently cross all the time. So,
all right, moving on to our featured bout on the main card is a fight at 135 pounds between Said Nurmagomedov and Silva de Andrade. What the hell is your first name?
Douglas.
Okay, it says D because like typology is like
so long.
You're an idiot. Douglas Silva de Andrade. Right now, the line is set at -305 for Said. And the comeback on Douglas Silva de Andrade +255. What do you got?
Yeah, it is. Now that you mention it, it is weird that his name is Douglas. Like it's like, a guy that like hangs out at the library type name. As much as I don't want to, I'm going to have to fade the old man here. Douglas Silva de Andrade is like one of those guys that definitely shows up. He fights all 15 minutes. He somehow finds the win. But this time, I think Said gets him out early. But if he doesn't, then Andrade might come with the damage. We all know that as the fight goes on, the fighters get sweatier. And I think the longer the fight goes on, the chance of Said sinking in that choke is drastically less. Again, I like Said early by sub, but if that doesn't happen, who really knows? So, I've seen Douglas Silva de Andrade. I've seen him come back and win multiple times, and it's very possible that if Said doesn't get the sub early, that could happen again here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think Said Nurmagomedov is a striker or a grappler?
Well, I'll give you. I'm assuming by his name that he's probably a grappler.
He's a striker.
Yeah, but
he doesn't submit anybody. He's got like 1 submission, I think, or 2 in his entire career.
Well, let's see.
He's only got 2 subs in his career because I think you're thinking of other Nurmagomedovs, which are all Dagestani wrestling grappling aces, but this is one of the Nurmagomedovs who's not has any relationship to Khabib whatsoever.
Oh, so like Nurmagomedov is like Smith over and
oh yeah, just search Nurmagomedovs in Russia. I guarantee you got like 50,000 of them.
Well, what's funny is De Andrade is like the same thing in Brazil.
Yeah, you're right.
So, but what's the sub? Well, I mean, even
like his sub prop's got to be up there because he just
plus 325.
Yeah, 325, and his KO is plus 175 or plus 2. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Well, whenever I first looked at this, like the numbers weren't even there, and I still don't I barely even have a lot of the numbers on this. I mean,
don't get me wrong. He could get a submission. He's got submission abilities, but the thing is, for him to get the submission, he rocked Cody Stamen and got submission. Like he's not a guy that's going to go in there and wrestle his opponent, take him to the ground, and then get submission that way using jiu-jitsu. He's going to rock you, take your neck, and submit you that way. But ultimately, he's a dirty, like, he's really good on the feet. His striking is very good. His spinning attacks are very good. As we saw in the Ricardo Ramos fight, the spinning body kick was a thing of beauty, and he finished him. And then he's got some insane power. Like I said, he rocked Ramos, Striegel, and Stamen, all three of them. And then we're getting him to win by knockout at either plus 175, plus 285, all the way in Bet Online. Plus 285 is extremely egregious. I mean, I would definitely take Said Nurmagomedov to win by knockout at plus 285 if they give that to me. The guy's been hurt. He got dropped by Sergey Morozov and almost finished. He got stopped by Piotr Yan, obviously, but everybody else does. But he, like I said, he gets hurt. This man gets hurt, and he takes a lot of damage. I could see Said finishing it by knockout, and if you get plus 285, I think it's a steal.
Yeah, I know. I guess I was looking at the right guy, but I guess based on just Silva's, like, I could see the same thing happening that happened with Stamen.
That could happen. No, you're absolutely right. That definitely could happen. I just think it's more. I think we have more of a chance of the Ricardo Ramos knockout or the Mark Striegel knockout than we're going to see a club and sub. But either way, you can just take him. What's him inside the distance? So just to cut out, the middleman.
Yeah.
Him to win inside the distance is plus 105. Which is not terrible. I think he finishes De Andrade, to be honest with you.
Well, the only reason that I think you would pick De Andrade is based on the Morozov fight that happened in Houston. That was fucking incredible.
It was a great fight. That
was wild.
But he also looked terrible in that fight.
Yeah, until he didn't. He looked terrible. But that was I'm just not sure how old. Like, I know he's old, like 40. I'm just not sure if he's going to be able to keep up with Said. Like,
he's not. He's definitely not. I don't think so either. I completely agree with you. And Said's on the up and up, and he's not even like, if you look at Said, that Andrade is not even his toughest opponent.
Yeah. Well,
and this is a step down from Cody Stamen. I mean, that's a pretty big step down. And then he also beat Ricardo Ramos in his second fight in the UFC.
Well, and also, like, I always remember, like, something about this dude is like super fucking annoying because he's like, whenever he wins, he just looks like so, like, chummy, like oh, that was whatever, like, no big deal, I just beat Street Fighter with 1/4, and like, he has that look on he has like that Nurmagomedov like smugness, and it like super bothers me, but like, so I'd love to see him get knocked out, but I just don't see it happening. I'll go back, I'll double down. I'm going to bet the sub just to laugh at you when it actually does happen.
Okay, well, we'll talk when it happens then. Okay.
Well, I always text you and then you block me for 24 hours. So
no.
Fall asleep for 24 hours.
Yeah, I have my notifications off because when I'm streaming my fights, I'm definitely like 30 seconds behind.
Oh, touche. That's very smart.
No, I'm actually like 3 minutes behind. So I'm just gonna put my phone underneath the pillow with notifications off. No, I can't hear anything. I don't hear no buzzing because I know that something's happening.
Yeah.
Something is going on right now, and I don't want to know about it until like the fight's over. Then I'll go check my phone and either be mad or be happy. Who knows?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I have to always find like the earliest stream. That way I can bet live. Because if I bet live and something's already happened, I'm like, oh fuck, like.
Yeah, no, I have to pretty much watch the sport, the live betting odds. Is okay, so it's got out of the round, and the books think that this person's winning. I'm like, it's such a pain in the ass. It's such a pain in the ass. All right.
Anyway, Said wins.
Moving on to our co-main event in the middleweight division between Kai Borralho and Armen Petrosyan. Right now, Borralho's minus 210. Come back at Petrosyan plus 180. What do you got?
I'm honestly surprised that this line didn't open up a little bit crazier. Honestly, I feel like you say Kaio.
I think it's Kaio.
Yeah, kind
think
of off of his last name I can't say it, but it's another one of those very common
Bahio.
Bahayo. It's one of those very common Brazilian names. I based on his most recent showing, and then also from Tuesday Night Contender, I thought he looked really good. Like
Yeah.
both, and we got to see kind of a different fighter in both fights. He proved he can stand. He proved he can hang on the ground. That was a huge question mark going into the last fight. Can he do some of these things? And I'd really like to see him go 3 rounds this time. And I also want to see him face some like adversity. Arman is good too, but I just feel like Bahayo. I feel like he's just going to be a little bit tougher, like a little bit more well-rounded. More tools in the shed kind of situation here. I've said that in the past, but this time, I obviously really truly believe it here.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in Bahio in this fight. I mean, I was pretty confident in Petrosian over Robocop as an underdog because I know it was going to be a striking affair. Petrosian, is a very, very good kickboxer. Uses his, his height and his reach and his length very, very well. But the thing is, he got hit a ton in that fight, and I feel like Bahio can definitely capitalize that on the feet. And obviously, he's light years better than Petrosian on the mat. Like, it's not even remotely close. You're talking about a guy that's been training with Damian Maia for the last 9 years since he was 19 years old. Here he is at 28 years old, and look how good he did against the hell is that? The Russian dude, Omar or whatever. I can't even pronounce his name.
Yeah, a lot of people were on him in that fight too.
Yeah, Gotsi got some Omar Gotsi or something like that. But yeah, man, I mean, the way he out grappled him was extremely impressive. Like extremely impressive. And Gotsi is a very, very good grappler. Like light years better than Petrosian will ever be. And then you also look at Petrosian. He has not defended takedowns well. I think he's only defended 3 of 8 attempts in his first 2 fights with the promotion. That's counting the Contender Series and in his UFC debut against Gregory Rodriguez. And he just doesn't defend takedowns well. And getting up, he gives up his back every single time. And then Bahio is going to absolutely take advantage of that. Why? Because he is now the next coming of Damian Maia, because he has the same backpack ability that Maia has. The moment he gets your back, he's stuck on you for the remainder of the round. You're not shaking him off. You're not getting him off of you. You can tripod and try your best. He'll grab your leg. He'll bring you right back down. There's no way you're getting out of that back take from Bahio. And I expect him to do that fairly quickly as soon as he gets him down. I mean, even the Gregory Rodriguez fight in his first takedown attempt, he did a blast double, was beautiful, and he got to mount immediately. I can see the same thing happening for Bahio. I just need him to, attempt the takedowns. He's looked like he's been attempting takedowns in his first couple fights, especially in the Contender Series. I think he attempted 4 takedowns. He was successful on 3 of them. It says he only went 1 for 1 on takedowns against Gotsi, but in that fight, he tripped him twice on his missed kicks or punches or whatever, and then he followed them to the mat and absolutely just dominated from then on out. And like I said, Gotsi is a very good submission threat, even off his back. He's very good in scrambles, and he's good at defending takedowns. He wasn't able to do anything. So as long as Bahio goes in there and attempts takedowns, I expect him to take him down and probably take his back and submit him inside 2 rounds.
I like it.
I just I feel very confident, and like I said, the UFC thinks very highly of this kid more than anybody else because they have him in 2 co-main event spots in his first 2 fights of his UFC career.
Well, especially because he showed up last time, because he showed up, did work, welcome back. Here we go.
Right, it was crazy because he was dominant in the Jeffrey fight. Then they're like, no, we're not going to sign you. But then he came back a few weeks later and fought again the same year in the Contender Series.
Yeah.
And dominated and knocked the dude out in minute 13. And then came in and got a co-main event immediately on a fight night card. Dominated that fight. And then he gets another co-main event on this fight night card. So they think a lot of him. He's exciting because he's got some pretty good striking along with Damian Maia type-esque, jiu-jitsu skills. So sky's the limit for him. I think there's a lot of potential in Petrosian as well, but we're going to see his lack of grappling in this fight, like handily. As long as Bahayo goes for takedowns and fights smart, he will dominate on the mat, and it won't even be close.
I like it.
We got Forrest Daniels over here taking Bahayo by second round submission. I like it. I like where your head's at, Forrest. I like it.
Yeah, I like that. That's actually, I could see it lasting a round for sure, and then ultimately him just picking up where he left off in round 1, and then finally finding the sub.
Absolutely. All right, moving on to our main event of the evening. We have a fight in 155 pounds between Rafael dos Anjos and Rafael Fiziev. Right now, the line is set at Fiziev minus 210. The comeback on dos Anjos plus 180. What do you got?
While I think Fiziev is deserving of the line, I think that RDA is being overlooked a little bit here. Fiziev is the cool new toy, and sure, he is pretty exciting, but RDA is RDA. 16 decision wins, and I think that is how this is going to play out. Fiziev will look great early, but as we get into deeper waters, I think RDA will do his thing and ultimately begin stealing rounds, holding him down, doing what he needs to do to kind of secure the win. I like RDA by decision. It's what is it? Almost plus 350, plus 360, depending on what book you're at. I like the plus 360. Plus you could do him straight up at plus money as well. I just ultimately feel like he's being overlooked here. He has proven himself many times before. He's not done. And then also Fiziev, while he is skilled, we haven't seen him really go, a full 25 minutes or, even go, a full fight with someone this skilled.
I agree. I actually agree. I mean,
Actually agree
with you here.
I did good. Checks in the mail.
I like it. But with Fiziev, he hasn't really been tested against anybody great. He's never gone 25 minutes, like you said. He's never been pushed to the brink of exhaustion, really. He did in Bobby Green fighting, and look at that happened there. He's slowing down against Bobby Green in the third round. So if RDA can really just kind of make him work, I think we'll definitely see Fiziev start to slow down as the fight moves on, especially goes to rounds 4, rounds 5. Like I said, RDA, championship caliber material. He's fought the best of the best. He's only been knocked out twice, I believe, in his entire career. Last time he's been knocked out was all the way in 2009, I believe, by Eddie Alvarez. It's been a while. And actually, since RDA moving back down to 155, he's actually 2-0. He beat Paul Felder and Hanato Morikando. So, coming into this fight, he's looking good, looking refreshed. We'll see. I mean, he looked in great shape in the Morikando fight, like in amazing shape. We'll see what happens here, but ultimately, it's tough for me to lay minus 210 on a guy that's never seen 25 minutes in a fight where I'm not expecting. I mean, Fiziev could knock him out, but I don't expect him to do it. And then you're going to take a guy that's won numerous decisions and has gone to numerous 5-round decisions at minus, and you're going to fade him at minus 210. I don't know about all that.
Well, I also like the mention of the Bobby Green fight, because as soon as we saw, Fiziev starting to get a little frustrated, hey, I can't knock this guy out. And, RDA versus Bobby Green, who would rather your money on that fight? I just feel like RDA, he has the tools to get this done. And Fiziev, while he is the cool new guy in town, and he has the fun skill set, that makes the girls, panties drop. It's RDA is the one that makes the money, and that also makes panties drop. Little do they know.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I gotta take RDA in his spot. Could I see Fiziev getting a knockout? Sure, but just know if you're betting on Fiziev minus 210, you're gonna be sweating that. Guaranteed.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely agreed. Obviously, it's kind of crazy. I thought I was going out on a limb I didn't expect anyone to really side with me, but I got Garrett agreeing with me. I got Forrest in the chat agreeing with me. If look back at the Paul Felder fight, like the guy controlled him for, did whatever he wanted. Is my money safe? I don't know about safe. I think it's the play to make. I mean, that'll be the play that I make.
Yeah, based on the odds, I would have to take RDA here. Also by decision, I think it's plus 380 at some places. I think that's a great bet. Like I said, with the Gamrot fight, to all my people out there, plus 500 on the decision because we got bad judging.
Yeah,
that's what happens. You got to take a shot on the big underdog or the decision prop when it's out of whack. When you have a decision prop that's like plus 400, plus 500, the fight's going to go a decision. You definitely take that shit. Like 100%.
Another idea here is with Fiziev, if he does show up, it might be in round 1. You could bet RDA live between rounds 1 and round 2. Right. The only issue with that is if RDA, wrestle fucks him, and you get a shitty line after round 1. But I see Fiziev doing his thing in round 1, and then RDA starting to take over in round 2 and 3. So yeah, you could, if you're not comfortable doing the decision and you just want to do them straight up, just wait till round 1 is over, because then you could probably get RDA plus 300. With Gamrot, I texted Garrett. I said he's available plus 400 live. So we already got the plus 500. You can double your money here and do another plus 400.
And what about a plus 900 swing?
Yeah. So just something to think about. I think that both bets are good bets. Fiziev by KO, Anjos by decision. It just really depends on what you guys think, ultimately where you want to put your money. But my decision is going to be on my money's going to be on the guy that's done it quite a bit.
Yep, I agree. RDA for the guap in the main event. But before we go, you guys got to go to Prize Picks. Okay, prizepicks.com. Sign up there. Use promo code PROPSLIVE. And what I need you to do after you sign up, I need you to get a screenshot. Take that over to Instagram. Go to Props HQ. Message them, show them the screenshot that you signed up, and get free merch sent to your house, courtesy of Props HQ. So all you gotta do is sign up, use the promo code, send that over to Props HQ on Instagram, and then let's get that merch. We'll give you some free merch thrown to you. You can swag out with some Playmaker and Props HQ merch. And that's what we got for you guys for UFC Vegas 58. We're here to make you money each and every week. We'll be back next week. But before we go, my man, Jesse Hopson, Joe Danger, where can everybody find you? I like it. It was like $7.
Yeah, $7, man. Yeah. But yeah. Just look me up, Facebook. Forrest hits me up on there. I'm available on Instagram, the Twitter sphere.
The Twitter.
Yeah. Real Joe Danger, Joe_Danger. I'm everywhere. So but I'm here every week. So find me here. But yeah, also too, I know we have this situation going on with the Prize Picks promo. But if you guys have any ideas as far as what you want from us as far as contests, because we're looking to give away some stuff. We're looking to make this more fun. We're looking to make this a community, if you will. So whatever we can do to accommodate the people that tune in from week to week, let us know in the comments below. Contact us directly. Let us know. We have shit that we want to get rid of and give to you. We have money that we make from week to week that we can give to you as well. So help us get our name out. Help us, I don't know. Help us survive. Help because we want to help you too. And just let us know and we will make it happen.
Absolutely, guys. Tune in every single week. We got some more giveaways. We got more things in the works. We got more money to put in your pockets, but we need you to go to Playmaker on all social platforms. Give them a like and a follow. Like and subscribe to the Props HQ YouTube channel and all social networks there. And we will see you guys next week. We are out of here. Adios.